Hey everybody, Dutch Sense here, 7:08 p.m. Central Time on Tuesday, January 6th, 2015. And this is my second fracking earthquake video of the day. And in case you guys don't know, over here on my Facebook page, I try to post everything. Also, you can come over to my YouTube page and check out the video that I just made and got up within the last hour about two back-to-back earthquakes which struck in Texas on the same latitude at the fracking operations. Now, let me show you Earthquake 3D. Since I made that video, two back-to-back earthquakes again occurred, two more. These are 3.7s. One at the Trinidad Colorado fracking operation, and another 3.7, very close to the previous 3.5. Now let me just show you, here's the activity over the last few hours. Alright, so here's our two original back-to-back 3.5s, and then the two back-to-back 3.7s. Now why is it significant at New Mexico and Colorado? Well, if you guys go watch my earthquake update video from a few days ago on the 4th, let me just scroll through here and show it to you. Okay, here it is on the 4th. Was specifically talking about southern Colorado at Trinidad. So let's go pull the earthquake coordinates for this earthquake. And we are just south of Trinidad in New Mexico. And in case there's any question, let's go ahead and pull the coordinates from the USGS, go put them in on Google Earth, and search that out. And also, let me just go ahead and turn off the grid. Okay, so this is our location in question, and when we back this out, you can see all these different little pads. We also have previous earthquakes that have happened in the region. There's so many wells at this location, I couldn't mark them all. I mean, we're talking several thousand different well locations. So here is the current earthquake epicenter. And when you zoom in on each one of these, what you'll see is a small apparatus here. And what they'll do, let me zoom in a little more so you can see, here's our oil pump, and they'll inject or extract, depending on which well they're doing, what they're doing at the well. Sometimes it's gas, other times it's oil. At these kind of operations, it's usually both. And they have underground pipelines that then assemble the gas or oil into compressing stations and move it off to a larger area for processing. So here it is at Trinidad, Colorado, just had a 3.7. Now you can see the other 3.7 occurring at the exact location of the other earthquake that happened a few hours ago. So to show that to you, you guys can either go watch my old video that I made a few hours ago, or I'll just put the coordinates in here really quick and search it out and show you what's there. If you're a previous viewer, you already know what's there. So zooming in on the location. All right, the location in question has already had multiple earthquakes occur here. So we're waiting for this image to load. For some reason, it's taking a long time on Google Earth right now. All right, here's the old well I was able to find upon inspection of the area. And you can see it matches pretty much the other frack well or oil well locations, but it's been abandoned. You've got an apparatus, you've got an old tank, but it's clearly abandoned. It's been washed over, but it's in the urban area right along the river in Dallas, Texas. And this is the Cowboys Stadium project. Texas Stadium, Dallas Cowboys, Texas Stadium. So, you know, guys, just to show this to you, it proves once again that earthquakes are happening back to back over large areas. So we're looking at, how far of a distance is that from Colorado to Dallas? Let's find out. Okay, here's our line measurement tool. We'll do this in miles. Okay. And we'll do it right from the location here, and we'll back this out. Okay, and so we're looking at roughly 500 miles apart, 530, 540 miles apart, within just an hour or two of each other. So that proves it, that they really need to address this in maybe possibly rewriting the textbooks to say that earthquakes are related over a large distance, and that we are seeing smaller earthquakes progress back to back over 400, 500, 600 miles. It's amazing to see this. So get the word out, guys. Again, we're seeing a lot of movement happen around the western and southern portion of the North American craton. Let me show you the earthquakes over the last 7 days really quick in the United States. Now, it looks like a jumbled mess here. Let me turn down the rings. These show a possible affected area. And you can see the areas that are clustering out. So we had a bunch of pressure begin up here in the Pacific Northwest. That started to push the edge of the craton, and we were expecting movement here. I named this area specifically 3 days ago, to watch for possible moderate to large movement. Here we are with that moderate movement. And why is that happening? Again, the plate is being displaced from up here in the northwest, and it's pushing on the edge of the North American plate down to the southeast. And it caused a swarm up here at the magma chamber at western Yellowstone in Idaho, but that's the magma chamber, extends that far over to the west. And then an earthquake struck right at the border of Wyoming. Again, guys, named out Wyoming as an area to watch, and then now Colorado and Texas. This is a lot of pressure to see to the west without any compensation movement to the east. You can expect it at some point here in the next several days that there will be some movement down here to the south, let's say Alabama, Mississippi, maybe even possibly into Georgia and Tennessee, down here, and then curling up the edge of the plate. We can expect movement at the fracking operations up here at Pennsylvania, New York, and Ohio. Just today, well, over the last 24 hours, the mainstream media has come out and confirmed that Ohio's earthquakes were caused by fracking. And they say this is the first time, quote unquote, that humans have ever felt fracking earthquakes. I'll put the link to the article down below so you guys can go read that. It's just crazy because we're seeing large earthquakes, moderate earthquakes that people feel happen at fracking operations. This is confirmed. The USGS has already confirmed it. The mainstream media is just lagging behind in understanding or knowing that they're talking about this. There were a series of 5.0 earthquakes in 2011 that struck in these exact same locations. 3 points where the 3.7 is here, roughly within a few miles of there, a 5.0 struck at the fracking operation that I showed you. Also, Oklahoma, where the swarm is standing out above all else, that had a 5.0 earthquake at the fracking operation. And Arkansas, which has been strangely silent, had a 5.0 earthquake, all within a few months of each other, guys. Then, to top it all off, this is something you will all remember, a 5.9 struck on the East Coast, in Virginia, very close to a fracking operation. In the same day, in that 24-hour period leading up to the 5.9, which shook the East Coast and it damaged the Washington Monument, knocked things off shelves, news anchors ran for cover underneath their desk on the East Coast just 2 years ago. Same day, there was a 5.0 at the fracking operation where this 3.7 is here now. Same day. And they say those aren't related. Now, I'm saying that needs to be correct. I'm telling you, showing you that needs to be corrected. And it will be someday. But as it stands right now, they're still saying earthquakes aren't related, and they pretend like they don't know where another earthquake is going to strike. Meanwhile, 3-4 days ago, I named out Trinidad, Colorado as an area to watch, and it got hit. Now, I'm not patting myself on the back. I get no credit for this. There's nothing I get out of this, guys, except for you guys knowing where to look for earthquakes. And that's why I'm doing this. I'm doing it on YouTube for pennies on the dollar, okay? Never will be able to write a book on this. Never will be able to get any scientific cred for this. It's just going to be changing the minds of the viewer so that you guys know that earthquakes are related, and it'll just change over time. People will eventually accept that earthquakes are related over spaces, vast spaces, small earthquakes, not big ones, small ones like these. 3.0s back to back, popping off like a ping pong game of pressure. And the pressure is transferring along the edge of the plate, clearly showing that, and it's happening from the west to the northwest, down here to the south. It's not coming from the east, guys. It's not coming from the mid-Atlantic ridge spreading like they teach. It's coming from the west, where subduction is not able to keep up with the excessive activity over here to the west. Look at the activity in the West Pacific over the last 7 days. These are all just 4.0 and greater. And you might say, oh, 4.0s aren't very large. Well, 5.0s are. They can cause some serious damage. And to prove that earthquakes are related over distances, another proof is down here in New Zealand. Same day, we saw 5.7 and a 5.3. Now this 5.7 is actually a 6.3. The USGS downgraded it to 5.7. All the other agencies, including the mainstream media, reporting it as a 6.2, 6.3. Struck right in the middle of New Zealand, right next to a volcano. Just a few hours later, 5.3 struck south by several hundred miles, along the same fault line. Geologists say that earthquakes are not related over any distance. Someone is wrong, and this proves that they, quote unquote, the professionals in the textbooks and all the teaching, is wrong. And that's how we're getting earthquakes back to back across the South and Midwest. And we have professionals who allowed for these wells to be dug where they're dug are denying that earthquakes are related, that these are related, that the fracking operation in Colorado would move in the same day as a fracking operation in Texas just to the southeast, and that those two are not related. It's denial. But there you go, guys. Okay, it turned into a little bit of an earthquake rant, but I've got to show you, and I've got to show other people who are saying that, earthquakes are being felt for the first time, human earthquakes in Ohio. That's a load of baloney. Somebody who has just not done their research and is repeating that in the mainstream media. Why? I don't know. It's all over everywhere. You can search the USGS and their research on induced seismicity, which is just a fancy term for man-made earthquake. Induced meaning somebody causes it, something causes it that's not natural. Oh. Cheers, guys. Much love. Be safe. Have an earthquake plan ready and be prepared just in case. Sometimes these fracking earthquakes can get rather large.